Hello and welcome to Joan Bakewell's garden. Now, we're actually in the Wallace collection again, and we're preparing for the next challenge our artists have to face.
And because it's the semi-final, our judges, as you would expect, have decided to make it a little bit more difficult.
Yes. Do you remember those things men used to do when they used to yawn and then their arm used to land like this?
Oh, right, yes.
Anyway.
I've seen those movies.
Welcome to the semi-final of Sky Art's Portrait Artist of the Year.
For the last 6 weeks, some of the UK's best amateur and professional artists have painted the portraits of some of our best-loved celebrities.
It feels good. I'm going to do this a lot. Is that okay?
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Just 6 artists were selected to go through to the next stage.
That's mind-blowing that they chose me. I can't believe it at all.
It's quite tense there, but yeah, it's amazing.
Now I have to do it again, don't I?
Now they're within touching distance of the final and a £10,000 prize to paint Graham Norton for the National Gallery of Ireland. But there's a different celebrity they have to paint first.
Once in a while she looks this way and just gives me a bit of a wink. And
How well they do will be judged by their toughest critics. Independent curator Kathleen Soriano, award-winning artist Taishan Schierenberg, and art historian Kate Bryan.
I think that's a better likeness than that, actually. We're never going to agree on likeness.
But with only 3 places available,
I really need to kick it up a notch and engage the nitro.
Who has the talent, technique, or temperament to reach the final of Portrait Artist of the Year?
How are you feeling?
I'm in a good amount of panic right now. Yeah.
Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
in today's semi-final, 5 of the artists are professional. Tara Qureshi, Phoebe Cripps, Greg Mason, Gareth Reed, and Kimberly Klaus.
I'm trying to put my surprisingly competitive nature to the side. I didn't realize I was this competitive, and just enjoy painting, because in the end, that's why I'm doing it. I do love painting.
And there is one amateur artist, Ross Macaulay.
I'm nervous to see what all the other artists are going to make, because they are really good, especially at this stage. It's good company. I'm definitely in good company.
But our 6 heat winners are not alone. Looking back after the final heat, the judges felt something wasn't quite resolved.
I just keep thinking that there are other artists who are really noisy in my mind still. Sometimes you just have a really, really strong heat and someone goes home, and if they'd come another day, they might have won. It's really difficult.
There are a number of people that have got away, and that's the thing about a competition.
And one artist in particular made such an impression that the judges decided to create an extra place at the semi-final for Liam Dickinson.
It was only when we got a bit of space from the competition, had a short discussion, that we realised that Liam was one we didn't want to let get away, and it was really important to have him on board.
I'm back. Here I am, and yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm looking forward to it. I'm the lucky number 7. It's good.
Our 7 semi-finalists find the Wallace collection looking a little different from the way they saw it in the heats.
Okay.
Oh,
That is beautiful.
my God. Wow, it looks amazing.
They brought in natural grass.
Fantastic.
That's good. I like it.
In the last rounds, there were 3 different sitters, but today they must all capture the same famous face.
I thought it was a famous gardener last time, and I was wrong. so could be anybody.
It could be somebody quite flamboyant. Judging by the flowers and the chair, it would be quite odd to put like a rugby player in that setting. I don't think it's going to be a rugby player.
Artist, your challenge as a sitter today is one of this country's most outstanding actresses.
Yes, she's famous for stage roles like Sweeney Todd and Gypsy, or on the big screen in the Harry Potter movies and Vera Drake. You've probably guessed, she's the amazing Imelda Staunton. Having trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art, Imelda Staunton worked her way to huge success and admiration, gaining numerous awards along the way, including 4 Oliviers and a CBE for outstanding services to drama.
Welcome. Thank you. I should go up here. You're looking gorgeous.
Yeah, but this is why I'm here. What this represents is that I dress up for a living. I do like my gardening, but I also wanted it to be sort of like an earthy thing, because I quite like being earthed. The dressing up is my job, but I have to be rooted.
Tell us about the gardening.
My husband and I garden. He's the head gardener and I'm the assistant. We absolutely have to do it together, so...
So is this reminiscent of your where you
Well, this is
normally
just
work?
home from home, quite frankly, with the scale as well, of course.
Can I just ask you, is there anything that you really want from Imelda that's physically bearable?
So obviously, because us two are on the outside, I'd probably like to see either facing as straight on as possible.
So are you saying it's better to be...
If possible,
Of
yes.
course,
yeah.
absolutely.
If you're happy with
absolutely,
that. Yeah.
whatever you need.
I think it's fantastic to see your footwear.
Thank you.
Artists, your challenge is about to begin, but because this is the semi-final, the judges want to make it a little bit more difficult as a challenge.
Yes, they are hoping that this combination of the fabulous garb and the surrounding shrubbery will be included in a sort of narrative in your painting, so you encompass those 2 aspects of Imelda's personality.
You have 4 hours to paint your portrait, and the challenge starts now. Painting under the gaze of watchful onlookers is a complete contrast to the way most of our artists usually work. Some artists only ever get to work from photographs. But even for those used to having a real sitter, the chance to paint a world-famous actress is a rare treat.
Hello?
Hello. One of the first years has been sick in the gym. Could you come straight away? Sorry, it's the coat. It says school caretaker to me immediately.
Well, they're dirty people. They get dirty.
No,
instead
I
of
love
painters.
it. I love it. It makes absolute sense. At the moment, it looks like it's quite a formal composition, centre stage.
Yeah.
I think you don't get much time to sit and think about composition. And
Yeah.
if you make that rushed and slightly dodgy mistake early on, you have to live with it for 4 hours. And in some ways,
Well, exactly.
the rest of your life to
On my
by regret.
deathbed.
Yeah, exactly. You'll think, God, if only I'd
should have
moved as
included
slightly
those
to the...
wellies.
Exactly.
Oh.
Ross Macaulay works in Glasgow University's bookshop and paints in his spare time. He won his place at the semi-final with his painting of Rick Wakeman, impressing the judges with how well he'd captured Rick's character in his loose, impressionistic style. It is almost an anatomical beginning.
Yeah, because you can kind of sculpt it almost and then just sort of add the little details in.
Your next splash on that canvas could be the one where you think, yes.
That's the best feeling. When you
Yeah.
get like that one brushstroke, that makes it.
And you think,
without
yes.
that, it would be nothing.
That's
so.
great. And how much of that is you and how much of that is fate, something mysterious in the air?
It's all me.
Fair enough. Congratulations.
It's all me.
What a fantastic sitter, a face full of character. That was really what I was hoping for, someone with real story around her. So I'm looking forward to try and capture some of that.
After selling his design business, Greg Mason moved to Exeter to become a full-time artist. Both his submission and his heat portrait of Trevor Eve impressed the judges with their composition, and they were curious as to what he would do next.
Greg, I think you've got a very extreme position in comparison to all the others. But you have turned the canvas so that you are completely profiled. You could have taken a different angle, really.
Yeah, I made a decision before I came today that if my view wouldn't allow me to paint the way that I wanted to paint, that I would take a photograph from another angle. But I've decided to be authentic to what's in front of me right now.
And one of the things I was hoping for today was that the artist would have more of a chance of a connection to their sitter, but in a way, you're even more distant than you were in the heats, weren't you?
Yeah, but if you watch her, once in a while she looks this way and just gives me a bit of a wink. And, and just says, am I giving you what you want?
Yeah.
And so there is that little connection going on, I think, around the room. I think it's great.
I've tried at some point to clock them all, just to have some sort of human contact. They're in their world, but just for a split second we can connect.
I'd love to be able to chat with Imelda, but I'm very, very aware that I'm painting with other artists, and you respect your fellow artists and you don't make the model move deliberately. So I think occasionally making eye contact, I'm going to just try and quietly, spiritually connect a little bit.
Phoebe Cripps is a professional artist from New Romney in Kent. In the heat, she had good rapport with her sitter Sue Perkins, but for the judges, it was her attention to detail that got her through to this semi-final.
We can see the background coming in, so
Yes.
you're not shying away from it.
No, it's a wonderful idea to kind of bring the outdoors indoors.
I hear a big but, yes, but.
No. And I
It's
think,
a wonderful idea.
No.
I hate you.
No, but I like it. I mean, after looking at her for a bit, I felt having her a bit off centre was a bit nicer, because then the garden can feel like it's taking its place in the picture, and it isn't, because she was making that clear that it's very important to her to be grounded.
Absolutely.
And it's like her time when she's off centre stage, and so I felt like having her off centre, it's like off duty in a way.
So here you are, the one that got away.
That's it. Yeah.
How does it feel?
I feel I do and I don't feel like the odd one out, but it's a fresh start today. In a way, maybe I have a bit more to prove to the judges, but hopefully I can justify their decision to put me through.
Amateur artist Liam Dickinson works in a supermarket in Chorley. His passion for cinematography means he likes his paintings to look like film stills. And while his painting of Dave Myers didn't win his heat, the judges felt strongly enough to break the rules and put him through anyway. You like this background, do you? It's because you've got a lot of scope here for this background.
Yeah, I love it, yeah. It is very in your face, exciting, but also don't want it to clash too much, so it's finding a way of kind of knocking it back.
It suits her sitting there, doesn't it, somehow?
Yeah,
it does
She
reflect
looks
her
very
temperament.
relaxed, doesn't she? She looks at home.
Competing for just 3 places in the final, our artists are nearly 1 hour into their challenge.
I think I'm just going to focus on the portrait, get a likeness. If I get there, at some point, then I can maybe have a bit more fun.
Painting is always a process of looking and thinking and making decisions. And without those 3 elements in the right combination, in the right order, your painting can go badly wrong quite quickly.
The way that it's laid out right here at the start is extremely important, because if that's wrong, then the whole thing falls apart. This is more challenging than the heat, definitely.
Here at the Wallace Collection, our 7 semi-final artists have been painting award-winning actress Imelda Staunton for just over an hour.
With so little time, it's natural for our artists to focus on the face. But their sitter cuts such an impressive figure that one is inspired to be more ambitious.
Kimberly, you've gone headlong into this challenge.
Yes.
I'm always very impressed when someone takes on a whole body like that.
I don't often do it, so I put myself in front of a difficult challenge.
But it's a lot more than faces, isn't it?
Yes.
If you saw a friend of yours walking maybe 150 yards away, just the way they move and the way they hold themselves, you think, oh, there's
Steve.
Steve.
Yes, absolutely. Gesture and posture play a lot into how.
Yes, so I find it really uplifting to see the whole body.
I'm glad.
Kimberly Klaus is a professional artist living in London. She painted actor Freddie Highmore in her heat, and though she took up painting professionally only a couple of years ago, her unique use of tone and brushwork distinguished her from the crowd. One thing I wanted to ask you today, how much colour are we going to see?
I'm going to try and keep it in this sort of rose and dusky purple.
Okay.
I didn't want to add too much green to the painting. It might need another colour just to have it sit. So I'll wait for that towards the end and see
And the
if
great
that
thing
works.
is, of course, you don't have to make all your decisions now, do you?
Yeah.
I like the idea that you set off with the route not totally planned.
Well, you're the man with the drawing fetish. You're completely besotted with drawing.
Could say that, yeah.
Now, what are you making of Imelda's temperament? Actresses are
I was-
quite elusive, of course, because whatever you've seen them do,
Exactly,
it's not really them.
Yeah. Well, I've only really started to look at her in the last few minutes. Before it was just purely, she was just a shape, really. And I was trying to decide on the composition, how much of her to keep in, how much of the background to have in.
Well, it's very satisfactory, even at this stage, to see what you're doing with it. Gareth Reid is a professional artist living in Glasgow. His charcoal drawing of Adrian Chiles stood out for its draftsmanship. But as the only artist to make it here on the strength of a pencil rather than a paintbrush, today he's keen to raise his game. This is charcoal.
Yes.
But you have there a tin of pastels. Now, once you put pastel on here, you can't go back.
Yes. I mean, that's the risky bit because I don't want to go back. I don't want to make it a pastel drawing.
No.
I want to have some element of subtle, reduced colour. So it almost looks like an old, faded thing. So that's the difficulty, is deciding when and how much.
At what point to
At
start?
what point, because you can't go back.
So you won't be getting round to colour till perhaps after halfway.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah.
That's a thrilling moment.
Yeah, well, it has yet to emerge, so we'll see.
Taking a strategic approach to the competition may or may not pay off, but for one artist, that's just not his style. You crazy street punk, urban warrior, wild man, you've gone into it like a graffiti experiment.
Well, yeah, I guess.
I love it. If I painted, this is how I'd want to paint.
Yeah.
Because I would want it to be, to some extent, therapy.
Exactly, of
And
course.
some extent, a workout for the upper body, which is what this looks like.
Of course.
Taro Qureshi works part-time as a gallery assistant in London. In his portrait of Raleigh Ritchie, he somehow managed to ignore the background and chose instead to show the surface of the wooden board, which he had salvaged from a skip the day before. What is it? What are you working on today? Something you ripped off the side of a kitchen cabinet?
No, this is another bounty from a skip that I...
Something else from a skip?
I sourced, yeah.
I like that it's got the screw marks around the
Yeah,
side
it's
as well.
nice. It's like a kind of frame almost, isn't it?
Yeah, but if somebody at some point down the line, say if Imelda chose that today, it means she doesn't have to worry about cords and that. She can just get the old electric screwdriver out and put it straight into the wall.
I can't see your eyes.
Can't you go up and have a look?
Can you see what colour they are? They're quite a cool blue.
What are they?
I'd say they're quite cool.
Yeah.
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 Painting in their own studios, some artists leave their work and return the next day to see it with fresh eyes. Well, that's not possible today. Regular breaks at least offer a chance to catch up with the progress of the other artists.
I'm going to be eating a lot of biscuits today.
She's brilliant as a model. I mean, she's got character in her face. She's holding herself beautifully.
And she's always got the same expression. She's always slightly smiling.
Yes.
Which I'm so really...
Smiling 4 hours at a time.
Now, Ty, this is the semi-final, so it's important that they pass higher tests, as it were.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And you invited them to introduce some narrative into their portraits.
Yes.
Now, I'm not sure what that means. You want a story, do you? You don't want a wicked witch over there, looking over their shoulder.
You're right. I mean, narrative suggests a linear sort of storytelling, and of course pictures are static. I think in this case, Imelda suggested the vegetation because she's keen on gardening. So the idea is to put her in a setting which reflects her interests. And, you know, she's got this fantastic Vivienne Westwood dress on, and she's got her wellies, she's got the garden behind her. So I think in this case, narrative means something more than just what the sitter looks like, but the idea that there's something happening about them and their lives beyond that picture frame. I think that's what we mean by narrative.
And capturing a narrative isn't just down to the artist. The sitter has a key part to play too.
I don't know what I've given away or given off today, so it's not for me to really demand that of the artist. I have to allow them to interpret what they've seen. Well, I have had a smile in this painting, and I didn't know that's what I would do. In a way, it sort of put me in a very good frame of mind.
Every artist brings their particular approach and techniques to their work, but some artists spend more time thinking about their method of working than others.
It's interesting seeing you sort of work down the face. You know, we've got the head, the eyes, the nose, and it's like she's just being filled in.
Very systematic.
I don't normally have a set kind of system in which I work. I'll suddenly be painting here, and then I'll suddenly kind of catch something over here in the corner of my eye and go, oh. And it's just a bit sporadic, but
Sounds exciting.
it comes together.
If it works for you, there's no right way. I think we've learned that, haven't we, over the years? There's not one way, not even close.
Ross, with all those different elements that you've got to introduce, the outfit, getting the head right, and the background, are you feeling quite comfortable with the time that you've got?
And I think some of the background is going to have to be quite fast and quite loose.
There are just 2 hours of the challenge left before 3 of our artists will be chosen to go through to the final.
I'm very nervous. I don't have that many good tactics to level out my nerves. My neighbor is dancing a little bit, so maybe I'll join in.
Gotta keep loose, keep limber.
There's so much to do. I don't think I could have done any more at this stage, but there's a lot of background. This could take a while.
Something about the second hour just disappeared. I'm finding the lightness really, really hard. I'm finding that I'm pushing and pushing it, and it's just tiny things can completely make it just not her.
Here at the Wallace Collection, our artists are halfway through their semi-final challenge to paint a narrative portrait of Imelda Staunton. In 2 hours, the judges must choose just 3 finalists, but already that's promising to be a challenge in itself.
So, judges, we are at the halfway stage. It's always interesting, isn't it, to see where they've reached at this point. So let's start with Liam, a man who in many ways has never had the glory of winning a heat. Has he seized this unexpected opportunity?
I think he has. I think he got a lovely likeness really quickly.
I would have thought he's more in danger than most of overpainting.
I completely agree.
He's got so much foliage and stuff that he hasn't tackled that at all.
I hope he does that instead of keep working the face, because the face is perfect.
That was the judges' brief, that they want narrative.
But it is interesting that each of them have interpreted narrative in their own way. Someone like Russ, for example, he looks for and tries to identify the character and the face and the real likeness in there. And Kimberly's decided that the narrative comes through the quirkiness of the smile on Imelda's face. I love it. I love the background paint, the colour that she's using, the way in which she didn't identify that colour until Imelda appeared, until she saw the background scene. And she is looking so hard at Imelda all the time.
She's constantly looking. I mean, it's a huge part of what she is as an artist.
OK, so Gareth.
What I really want him to do is use colour, because we fell in love with the way that he used colour in his submission, and it was more defined.
We did make it clear that we were expecting him to sort of raise that game and give us more at the semi-final. So far, I mean, maybe it's only lunchtime, but so far he hasn't given it to us.
So, Phoebe.
Something's happened in the last half an hour where it's sort of gone from a very light, vivacious, lively portrait to something rather dark and sombre.
She has got something of the spirit of Imelda. There's a sort of cheeky smile playing on those lips.
Yeah.
I think that cheekiness of that smile really pings when you're looking at her front on.
Having said that, Taro has got that view, and I think he's struggling with it, you see. I think it's just a bit symmetrical and pink.
I'm really glad he's here, though, because I think what he adds is a completely different dimension to the other artists that we've got today.
So what about Greg? I think he's really taken your brief on board, because usually, if the background features in a painting, it's after the face has been finished. It's beautiful. The foliage, the chair looks great. So it's all waiting there for Imelda's face. It's like a sticker book.
Yeah.
You just got to put the sticker in with the face on.
All day, I haven't looked. I don't want anyone watching me rehearse. And I think, you know, they're trying to get it. My job is to serve them today and just nip in at the end and then have a really, really difficult time trying to choose.
Look at those gorgeous, juicy brushstrokes.
Thank you.
There's a lot of foliage which you put there, and
Yes.
you kept the background pinky. Will it stay like that?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think adding the green did help the rest of the painting so that it's not just one color. But I don't know if I'm going to put it in that last bit in the background.
When will you decide?
I'm going to have to decide soon.
Having promised to incorporate colour into his portrait, Gareth did say it would be subtle, and sure enough, he's remained true to his word.
This is me going for it, colour-wise. It's just, she could get swamped by the background. I kind of want her to dissolve a little bit into the background, but not too much.
You make it look really easy.
I mean, I think I'm a bit apprehensive about the background. Got all this foliage, and I just hope it doesn't kind of get too muddled. I want to paint some detail in some of the roses. You know, I don't paint many flowers, and that today is the challenge.
That's
you know?
the challenge today.
Well, I mean, it's all the challenge, but that's a new challenge, let's say.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
While Liam battles with his foliage, Greg's moved on from his.
I wanted to paint the background in before I hit the head, just so that what I did on the head held its own. This was my base layer on the face, and now really to get the subtlety and richness of what I'm after, I'm going to swap to oil paints, which are more luminous, got more colour, and particularly good for skin tones.
Most people only ever see finished paintings when they visit galleries, so watching a portrait evolve offers a completely new perspective.
And Imelda's husband, actor Jim Carter, has more of an insight than most into how well these paintings capture her character.
You can definitely see Imelda in all of them, and I gather she's been well behaved and hardly wriggled at all, and only one has got her wellies in, I noticed. So she's gone to all that trouble to wear her wellies on a hot day like this, and only one has painted them in. I'm deliberately not picking, because I think I want Imelda to pick without any influence at all from me, not that she would pay a blind bit of notice.
Imelda, you were keen to point out that you didn't want to be seen as the grand dame of acting. You want a bit more humanity.
Yeah, I do, and I get slightly, not embarrassed, but in this sort of garb, which isn't me, but there's pockets in it, Frank.
Yes.
That's, for me, that does it for me. That, I like the ordinary to be extraordinary.
Yeah, okay. So we're basically looking for the inner you, not the star. I love the star thing. I live for it.
Do you, darling? Well, I can see that in your eyes. Yeah.
Our semi-finalists have just half an hour left to complete their portraits before they find out which three will be going through to the final.
I think the eyes are proving the hardest. Luckily with oils you can push it around a lot, but at the same time finding this one quite hard.
So you start out and it's exhilarating, it's fantastic, and then it starts to become an image, and then you hate it and it's the worst thing you've ever done. Where am I now? I'm just pre-hating it entirely.
How are you feeling?
I'm in a good amount of panic right now. Yeah.
Deep breaths. Yes. You can do it. You're nearly there.
Yeah.
I still feel like nausea. There's slight panic, but it's fine.
Here at the Wallace Collection, our 7 semi-finalists are in the closing moments of their challenge to paint award-winning actress Imelda Staunton.
Something just feels a bit out, and it can take literally the tiniest brush mark, and then she can be back. I have to calm down and just not panic. That's the thing, because I'm slightly panicking.
Artists, there are 5 minutes to go.
I really need to kick it up a notch and engage the nitro and really go nuts on this sucker.
Unfinished bits are an issue, but yeah, I'm happy enough.
Artists, your time is up.
Put down your materials and step away from your easels.
After sitting still for 4 hours, it's time for Imelda to come face to face with 7 different versions of herself. Imelda, you sat splendidly.
Thank you.
I thought. So have you avoided seeing any of these?
I have.
That's brilliantly well done.
I have, yeah.
Of course, it means this moment can be...
It's a nightmare,
Well,
yeah.
it can be devastating. So, would you please, artists, turn your easels?
Oh, God. It's going to be a little bit tough, this. Oh,
Shall we go and have a closer look?
Please. Yes, please. Golly. Oh, look at me. I do like those eyes. I think there's a bit of anger in there or something. I like the sort of... It's not soft. I like that. That's the Irish in me coming out. I'm loving the green now.
I'm loving the foliage.
That was a big challenge, I think, that, isn't it? I mean, you must be used to faces, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But that's wonderful. You got the wellies. Oh,
I tried.
You certainly did. Beautiful colours. Gosh, thank you. You can tell that there's something else going on in that.
It's the smile of someone who's wearing Wellington boots.
I think this is a very good choice of... I think everyone should wear this when they're doing this.
Yes, well, maybe we'll make it the house dress.
Yes. Oh, my goodness.
It's fabulously you, though. I think it
is.
really does capture you.
Yeah, bit of a smile, but don't come too close, that sort of
Yeah,
smile.
but it gives you a sort of a enigmatic quality, which I like.
Well, that's me and no mistake, isn't it?
And you seem to be slightly emanating light.
Well, that's very kind of you. I think they had about 100 watt on me most of the time.
Yes.
Yes, it does have a lot of light.
You've seen what we've got on offer, Imelda. Which one of these paintings would you like to share your life with?
I'm going to go with this painting.
In the quiet of an empty gallery, the serious business of assessing the paintings begins, as the judges have to reduce our 7 artists to 3.
So, judges, 7 portraits of Imelda Staunton. You don't have to pick a winner today, but you do have to get this down to 3.
I think it's a very good painting.
The only thing I'm not completely convinced by is sort of the mottled nature of the skin colour.
It draws you into her person and also beyond. What is she looking at? What she's smiling at?
It's a really different way of painting. It's really exciting for me to see something like this where I think, I haven't seen anything like this before, and why the hell not? This is a really great style.
It's got Imelda's, the arms crossed, it's got that presence, it's got a physical presence.
Right now, I feel an extreme amount of relief. I showed up, painted, and now it's up to the judges to do the hard work.
It was quite ambitious to want to do the background and the dress, but he just didn't worry about the likeness, and it's just not there.
But it's the best neck of all of them. That part of the picture works marvellously.
I don't know how good my chances are. There's some really good stuff there. Some really, really good stuff. So I don't have my hopes up too high.
I think Tara is very special. There's an energy and a dynamism there that is fresh and very different to everyone else.
And in the subplot of this, which Joan has introduced, the battle of the necks, I love that neck. I think it's right up there.
Yes, that's where it's meant to be.
I'm growing, I'm changing as an artist. I'm going to go through a lot of different phases before I settle. And I'm just going to enjoy that and try and document as much of that as possible.
She's so good, and I just think she just slightly overcooks things.
I must say I preferred it early on in the day.
It's too much and it's too muddy.
Yeah, but we did ask her to
Narrative.
paint, so... Yeah.
But there are different elements of painting going on that don't work together.
But I do think this is a beautiful, beautiful painting.
Yeah.
I'm a suffer a disadvantage that I fell in love with one a little bit earlier. It was a masterclass watching him create this. And he caught a sense of her expression, but he did it in absolutely his own way.
I love the fact that he's prepared to be brave enough to argue that pencil and charcoal should be pushed up in the hierarchy of media.
You see this today and you think, well, how glorious that he's here. But I mean, that likeness came so quickly and he didn't lose it.
We all thought at the halfway stage that he could only take it one way, and that was down. But he kind of did leave it alone, didn't he?
And he's also left the bits white. I mean, that works very well. It gives it a kind of crisp...
It gives it such freshness, doesn't it? And also it enhances, for some reason, the impishness of her expression, which is very characteristic.
I'm a lot happier with how today went than how the heat went, so hopefully that'll be a reflection of how the result goes as well.
The ease to know how to get a likeness, don't you find?
I think that's a better likeness than that, actually. We're never going to agree on likeness.
No, that's really interesting.
Can we get rid of this one, though?
Yeah.
This is a really good bit of painting.
Oh, God, we're just going to have to battle it out, aren't we?
Okay.
Artists, thank you again. There's no doubt you are a very talented set.
Yes, but unfortunately only 3 of you can go through to the final, and the judges have made their decision. They have chosen 3 artists who have displayed bravery, confidence and energy. And the first of those finalists is Gareth Reid.
The second finalist is Kimberly Klaus.
And the third finalist Liam Dickinson.
The sympathies of all of us, our commiserations for those who didn't quite make it. But you've worked hard and we have enjoyed watching your work. Congratulations.
Very much
to you.
so. Fantastic.
I can't really believe it. I can't really get, I can't. I'm speechless, which doesn't happen to me much.
I'm slightly dazed and confused because I kind of thought I'd blown it a little bit there. So, yeah, I'm over the moon. Yeah, I'm really happy. Thank you. Cheers.
I'm buzzing. I'm thrilled, yeah. I was happy with how everything went today, so we've got the result to top it off. Dead happy.
Feels so good to know that it's a worthwhile endeavor to not work and starve and paint.